521, week number 2. Welcome. You're here. So let's just jump right in and talk about that assignment that is due at the end of the week because it ties in with one of our two big themes of the week, Bloom's digital taxonomy. So you likely know Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's digital taxonomy, the link we gave you is through Arizona State University. They have some great media literacy resources there, by the way. Christy Roschke, who's a board member, just like I am at NAMELY, the National Association of Media Literacy Education, heads up that department. So they do some great work around media creation and how we talk about it with educators. So Bloom's digital taxonomy, looking at the three tiers of creating, evaluating, and analyzing. And you're going to click on this and look at your own. But when we talk about creating, for me, this is really the power of technology in classrooms, in students' hands, and the ability to really transform students from consuming to creating. For me, that's the real magic. And this creating part of Bloom's digital taxonomy is all the things that you can create digitally, right? So like blogging, publishing books, podcasting, making movies or video clips or social media clips, and just all that goes into that, all those different roles that you would have like in a legit like movie production you can have with students. And it really shifts the center of gravity, if you allow it, away from the teacher doing the work and doing the talking and doing the making of things to students doing the creating and the talking and the making of things. And I think that's really the biggest shift when we talk about these tools. And if we go back and look at it like TPAC, that P, the pedagogy, is this. It's the idea that students are the ones busy creating things. The evaluating is like grading and testing, but it's also doing collaborative stuff, discussion boards, like Google Classroom, kind of threaded discussion things. Also, what used to be Flipgrid or Flip, looking at like, what is it called now? I'm blanking out. I can picture it. I want to say, are we going to find it together? That new thing where you post like the virtual sticky notes. Should we just Google real quick virtual sticky notes? Not Miro. Canva has a template for that. I'm blanking on it. It'll come to me. Figma is another one with Fig Jam when Google Jamboard went away. The idea that you can like post multiple notes, student collaborative notes, post. I'm going to come up with it as soon as I'm done. I'll put it in our weekly thing. I had it in my head like before I started recording and it is gone. Doesn't matter. Padlet, there it is. I just had to give up on it. Padlet will also let you do video, text, photos, collaborative Google Maps where you can add pins with locations, customize the pins, add photos to that, add videos to that, add links to that. Those links can go to podcast episodes that your students created. The whole idea is that students are creating using digital tools. And even though it says posting that evaluating is what I was just talking about, it jumps back and forth, right? It's not just like they only post text. No. They can actually post all kinds of multimedia and then analyzing, linking to different things. And remember, any Google tool can link to anything because every new document, every new slide deck, every new Google Sheet or drawing is a unique link, and so you can link to that. Each one is technically a new website. There's also mind mapping tools, any sort of a visual way of organizing anything. So that's kind of my own take on Bloom's digital taxonomy. With that, your lesson plan, your assignment is going to take an old lesson plan, revise it with Bloom's digital taxonomy, and you're going to actually just kind of walk me through, here's what it used to be, here's what it is now, here's why I changed it, one page kind of explaining how that lesson has changed using Bloom's digital taxonomy. The second big part of this week is looking at, the discussion board looks at it, and the theme, the topic of the week is focusing on equity with English language learners. I heard a term that I actually like a lot more is emerging bilinguals, because English language learner comes from a deficit mindset, like you don't know English. Emerging bilingual means you already know another language. You're learning another one, and that's amazing. So if you see EL or ELL, that's also emerging bilingual. It's not nearly as common, so I'm going to leave Canvas as is with EL and ELL, but you're going to hear me talk about emerging bilinguals because I like it. I think it's much, much more positive. So your discussion board looks at that. You have resources with that. There's one AI tool that I really like for any sort of bilingual education, and that is School AI. So there's at this point thousands of websites out there that are like, this is AI that'll change your life for teachers. Uh, the School AI one that I like has a whole bunch of stuff that's not great, like help write a lesson plan, um, whatever with stuff. Um, the one that's really, really good with this is Sidekick. And what Sidekick lets you do is create essentially your own custom chat GPT for your students. It already has a lot of kind of barriers of what the chatbot can and can't do, mostly what it can't do, and you will further narrow that by saying only do this and always do that. And so what you would do is if you have some emerging bilingual students, you can actually create a chatbot to say like, let's work on this lesson of what's something good. You're not going to answer me, and well, no, you will answer me. What's like a good lesson plan? And I just can't hear you when you say it. It's not the way that one-way video works. For some reason, like cardinal directions come to mind again: north, east, south, and west. Second grade standard in social studies. So you would say like, I want my second graders to learn about cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west. Right at a second grade level when responding to them. And then for those, if there's more than one language there, you can say, always respond in English and in Spanish. Anytime you write, give me both those languages. You give it those directions. You can go further and say, like, if students are stuck, give them the answers, but don't immediately give them the answers. Ask them questions, guide them along like a second grade instructional coach. You give all those directions into Sidekick, which is part of School AI. You launch it, and then it gives you two things. It gives you a QR code and gives you just a short URL. Either one students can type in or link to or scan. It's me scanning with an iPad. Guess I could just hold up an iPad. And they're in your class. And what happens with that is they don't have accounts, and so the normal ChatGPT requires you to be 13 or older. So this is a great workflow for really any K-12 student. They don't have accounts. They're in essentially your account, and as each student joins, you can see them in the corner of the screen. Every kid's going to have their own row, and then so that the column gives them the student row, a little emoji showing how on track they are, and then a summary of kind of how they're interacting with your Sidekick chatbot. And you can click on each student and see the entire chat. It's amazing. The free version will give you more than enough, super powerful. For me, this is the best solution for students that need support in more than just English. It's amazing for that. Also, if you happen to be a foreign language teacher, teaching Spanish, Mandarin, French, whatever, you can say like, I was working on this with our 7th grade Spanish teacher at Hillbrook, and said like, oh, you're doing this unit, help them with this and that. Respond to them always in two languages. Respond in English at a 7th grade reading level, and respond in Spanish as a very beginning Spanish speaker. And so as the kids are chatting, the chatbot will always respond in 7th grade level English and beginning Spanish. Super, super powerful, fantastic strategy. Anytime you need to have more than one language. It also works with just English, and it's good stuff. So that's what you have for this week. And yeah, reach out if you have any questions. Other than that, happy week 2.